Kunja Bihari. Can't believe it, still can't believe it. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giravaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Giravaradhari. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vana Chari Jamuna Tira Vana Chari Ajaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradhari. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Put it up there. Ajay Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 2, 3, 4. Down. And the clock, up and up, and the clock, up. Sideways. Sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. And up, up, down, down. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Everyone. Oh well, okay. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Yes, sir. Oh, oh, oh. Yashoda Nanda Prajavara Yashoda Nanda Prajavara Nanda Prajavara Yashoda Nanda Prajavara Yashoda Nanda Prajavara Yashoda Nanda Yamuna Yamuna Tira Kadacha Yamuna Tira Kadachari Oh, oh Yamuna Tira Kadachari Yamuna Tira Kadachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Priprajikacharya Sutara Sutta Sismit, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Priprajikacharya Sutara Sutta Sismit, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Nama Charishal Haridas Thakur Ki. Praise goes Sikh Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Navadvip Mayapura Dham Ki. New Mayapura Dham Ki. Gangamai Ki. Yamunamai Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki. Brihat Mridanga Ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunya Vipaschasarini. Merci beaucoup. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is this a lesson in Bhagavad Gita or just?
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Then let's go to it. Hare Krishna.
Do you have a book?
Hare Krishna. Gaurangi, you wanted a poem, right? You wanted a poem? You asked for a poem.
Your poem, yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I will read a poem. It will be in English, and there'll be a little sort of an introduction to who I am, and then we will Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? I will read loud. That's good. We'll wait for you to get it done. So, how is everyone? Comment ça va? Oh, Bhagavad Gita, yes. Okay, no problem. We'll start another kirtan while we're waiting. Hare Krishna. Maybe we get everyone's names. Is that okay? Okay, so you? Pankaj. Right? Yes, Pankaj. Jyoti. Jyoti and Bhupendra. How would you do that? How would you act that out? Oh yeah, well, he did it. He did who was on his throne. King of Dev? God. Thanks. Nice to meet you. And you are? June. Like April, May, January. Okay. June. Namacharya. Okay. Yeah. Raghunath Swarup Das. And how would you act that out? You don't know? Okay. If you're, just be honest, I do not know what to do. Okay. Madhavendra Puri Das. Let's see. Aju. Yatra. Okay. Okay. All right. Lucas. Look at us. Milking the cow. Gopal. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. And Mother and Gopal. How would you act that out?
What's the question?
What's your name and can you act it out?
If I can act it, I don't know.
Don't be shy, speak up.
Mother and Gopal, that's good enough. Bye, Bobby. How do you act that one out? Okay, we'll figure it out. Have it ready next time. Mataji's in the back. Ananga Manjari. Okay. Nayana Sundari. Very good, good enough. Okay, one poem we'll read and then we'll get right into the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, this is the last poem in this book. It's called the Walking Monk Poems, number 2. Okay, here we go. En anglais, sorry. Part 1. When I was young, a while back, before school, I would go to church. Can you hear?
I'm not a technician.
Okay, when I was young, a while back, before school, I'd go to church. Felt peace, never under attack. Like a happy bird on its perch. No one told me to go. I just felt the impulse. I thought, here I can grow. This is God's house. Blocked out from the rat race world. Things were just calm inside. Rare to see a boy or girl, maybe an elder by my side. The message was clear, love. For the Creator, the neighbor. I was in a secret respect club, something anyone would favor. Sundays were different, a crowd. The vibe was of gratitude, which was expressed fairly loud, executed in an amiable mood in the form of a song. Seats were fairly hard, hearts soft, lungs strong. Being there, I was doing my part. Part 2. As a teenager, I went to concerts where the stage was the lit altar. Guys in flirt shirts, girls in belts for skirts. The band pumped out pop culture. Guitars and drums got around with a theme of a kind of love. We were captivated, lost in loud sound. Our passion hormones fit in that glove. Then theatrics came, the electric chair, hitting us to a dark gladiator. I began to question how I fare. I became an internal debater. The world was becoming vulgar. Censorship lost its meaning, luster gone, dull your color. What should I believe in? Went on an inner search, still loving the beat of the drum, reflecting on the peace in church. Didn't want to be a beach bum. I wanted to give, contribute. Important was to have a song. I wanted to speak, not to be mute, to do right and not to do wrong. Part 3. So what was or what went right? It happened in college. Some monks were on site, there to spread their knowledge and using casual persuasion. I met one downtown in the snow, Dressed like Buddha, he was Caucasian. God, he looked as though he was detached from this realm. Later, I met 5 of them, singing to an exotic drum. Not hymn, not rock, but mantram. Were they on some kind of drug? Sung in a song sung by the Beatles? I thought this was more than chug-a-lug and more than injecting needles. I hosted them. I was inquisitive. They shared song, wisdom, food. It all seemed so superlative. They were the coolest of dudes, very driven, and had purpose. I was accepted into their brotherhood. No need for me to be nervous. I was called to be self-understood. I found my niche. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Now we're going to the Bhagavad Gita as it is.
I couldn't find a better one.
Okay.
I've never seen this version.
Oh yeah. I'm supposed to.
I think it's Prabhupada.
Okay. No problem. I'm supposed to give a Bhagavad Gita class on Monday night. And I have to figure that out. So what verse are we on here? Are we going in sequence or anything? Okay.
Is there a sequence on the Bhagavad Gita classes being followed?
No.
No?
Okay, Bhupendra, what we're going to do is, it is the second month of the year, so we're going to go to chapter 2, and it is day number 9. So we're going to do 2-9. Is that okay? Thank you. All right. So 2-9. This is a good verse. You're going to like it. Okay.
Yes.
Does somebody want to
Yes.
see Señorita? Yes. Okay, here we go. Sanjaya Uvacha Evam Uktva Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapaha Nayotsya Iti Govindam Utvatushnim Bahuvaha. Translation. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Please repeat. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapaha. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness. and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated, since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bruce. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Hare Krishna. So it really is a good verse, because Arjuna is at the peak of his emotions. He's at the top. And it holds true because of his saying, Govinda, I shall not fight. In other words, he's being disobedient. Right. But we know it was Arjuna and his brothers and Draupadi, their wife, who said, let's go, let's fight, let's win. Almost like cheerleaders. You got to go, 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 go. You got to fight, 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 fight. You got to win, 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 win. You got to go, fight, win. Okay. For so many years, this was their mantra. That was their song. And now, suddenly, the table is turned, and Arjuna's thinking otherwise. And everything that he said up to now, all that he said was leading up to this point, pivotal point, I'm not going to do it. I just can't do it. Now, it's interesting because Arjuna is an experienced man at warfare. He had fought many battles, and he's now over 100 years old. He's been an expert in the field. And in the field, meaning the field of warcraft, and in the field, called Kurukshetra. This one was very different from all the rest. First of all, Krishna was with him, like personally there. So that's a first. And it's also a first that now he's fighting against family members, namely the cousins, headed by Duryodhana, and also on the other side is his guru, that is Drona Charya, and also Bhishma, his grandfather. So it was very difficult for him. He knew who was going to be where, on which side. There were 7 Aukshohinis, military formations, on the side of the Pandavas, and 11 Aukshohinis on the side of the Kauravas. So the Pandavas were outnumbered, but Arjuna had a good handle on things. He knew who he was fighting against. But it's upon seeing things that you change your mind, isn't it? By seeing, like you don't fall in love with somebody if you don't see them, right? The only person I know in the history of the world is Rukmini. She didn't see Krishna, she just heard about him. And from that, she wrote a love letter. My dear, but I'm not sure how to, Supreme Personality, you've got it, whatever. I like you. And only because she heard about him, and it struck right. It was right. It was like the glove that fit the hand perfectly. So a Brahmin was sent off to deliver the letter to Krishna. And when he received that letter, I better go and help her, because she was also expressing in the letter, I'm in trouble. They're trying to marry me to somebody who I don't want to be married to. Save me. So Krishna more or less dropped everything, and he went off to do what he needed to do. And that was to save her and take her. And, the way the story goes, I know I'm trailing off a little bit here, but once Krishna captured her and saved her from the marriage to Rukmi, Then Shishupal. It was Shishupal. Rukmi was the one who was trying to, he arranged it, yeah, but it was Shishupal. And Shishupal is a little bit of a rascal. You know, he didn't look favorably upon Krishna. Anyways, Krishna started to release his arrows on all the people who were upset that he had taken her away. And she got onto the chariot and took the reins of the horses and started, you know, she participated. Let's get out of here. And that was totally, you know, they were totally bond together. Okay. So, but the point about seeing something, it really compels you to do something. It draws you, it attracts you, or you get repelled. You know? So Arjuna got very repelled by all the people he saw. He didn't think it was going to be like this. But as some commentators explain in our lineage, Arjuna was overwhelmed by one of Krishna's agents. It's called Yoga Maya. And this Yoga Maya caused him to be in a kind of an illusion. Whenever we say Maya, it's some kind of illusion. When you're born into this world, you're in illusion. And you're in what's called Anna Maya. Anna. You know what Anna means? Ice cream.
No, great.
Yeah, well, food. In general, food. Food conscious, you know, everything for kids, babies, right? Everything has to come here. Even a microphone. You know, that's the way it is for children. They just eat, this is what they relate to. It is a kind of Maya. And there's different stages of Maya. But Maya is illusion, or that which is not. And that's what Arjuna is going through. And that's why he's making a statement, I shall not fight. And he says, it's preceded by Govinda, which is the name of the Lord. And Govinda, when you translate it, means one who's dear to the senses, dear to the cows, because Go means it, and also to the land. And we have other names of God in this particular shloka. This is 2:9. Let's not forget it. Rishikesh. Rishikesh means the master of the senses. Okay, each and every one of us, we think we're the master of our senses, right? I'm in control. If I want to say something, I'll say it. That means I'm in control, and I'll use my mouth for it. If I want to sniff something, I will tell myself, I will tell the brain, I want to go and sniff. If I want to see something, I will do it through my eyes, through my senses, and hearing through the ears and so on, and with the fingers touching. But it is really Krishna who's the master of the senses, because we think we're in charge, master of everything that we can see or touch or own through legal means. But ultimately, it is Krishna who's the one who's the proprietor of all of our senses, including all of your senses. And we have to remember that. If you want to cultivate your Krishna consciousness, it simply means that nothing belongs to me. Even my very own hands, even my kids, my wife, husband, my car. What a big, fat illusion that is, to think that this is all mine. So it belongs to Krishna, the one who can basically maintain it. So therefore the name Rishikesh comes up. Another name that's put out there is Gudakesh. Isn't there a cheese like Gouda or Gouda, something like that? Okay. Well, this is better than cheese. Okay, Gudakesh. It's the name of not the Lord, but his agent. That is Arjuna. That means one who's overcome sleep, one who's able to just keep moving, keep throttling ahead with one's service, and can manage without too much sleep. So that's the name of Arjuna. And if you study this Bhagavad Gita very carefully, you see there's many different names that are awarded to Krishna as well as Arjuna. So Gudikesh is one. That is for Arjuna. And constantly it goes back and forth. There's some poetical license here. And they always have some meaning. For instance, Gudikesh is referring to Arjuna, who's always awake and very attentive. But it seems like, paradoxically, he's not attentive now. He's admitting it. I can't do it. I can't do what is asked of me. So the word is very appropriate. And then the word Govinda means one who pleases all the senses. Govinda, please satisfy my senses. But it hasn't been working out so far. Chastiser of the enemies. Let's see how that's translated. Okay. Like when you go through a verse from the Gita, it's a good idea to pull it apart. Okay? Chastiser of the enemies. Parantapa. So that's another name of the Lord. Chastiser of the enemies. Okay. So let's look at that just for a second. What are the enemies? Who are our enemies? Do we all have enemies? Or am I just a nice, happy Hare Krishna, shaven head, traditional, everything, dhoti, sari, whatever. I'm just I'm a happy Hare Krishna. Should I have any enemies? Maybe not. But maybe you do have some. And because for what we represent, if you go on the street, at least when I joined the movement, everyone had lots of hair. Everywhere, here, there, everywhere. And we were shaven-headed, and that wasn't cool. There were no cool shaven-headed people in those days. And so when people looked at us, it was like death personified. It was like that, right? Because the only people at shaven heads were those who spent some time in an institution and needed medication, right? So now here we're showing ourselves with that shaven head, and we are, let's say, saying, we are attacking, we are challenging the status quo. And the status quo is, I've got to be an enjoyer. I've got to have hair all over the place. At least that was the style in those days. But then time rolls on, and now everyone's got, a lot of people have got shaven heads. And now we're part of the cool generation. Yeah. So we're less threatening, I think. Yes, we were very threatening to people. Wearing bed sheets or clothes, that was very threatening to people. They just couldn't relate to it. They didn't have a reference point. And in those days, there were not enough kung fu movies about monks doing martial arts that they couldn't relate to us, right? So we just seemed to be quite odd, and we were very different, and they just couldn't place us. And then we're singing some other mumbo jumbo, just some kind of language that nobody could understand. And then we got stuff, white powder on our forehead. And what's that all about? I like my friend Sacharaj, also known as Stephen Rosen. He said, this represents war paint. And it's tilak, we call it. And we're declaring war on Maya. So it's a genuine thing, right? Anyways, the look is very unique and very different for the average person. At least it was in those days. Now, with immigration policies as they are, everyone's quite mixed together. And there's another different kind of person. But so be it. Everyone's different. We're all unique. I'm unique. You're unique. We're all one big family. And so things have changed. Attitudes have changed. Now it's become a little bit more, people are looking at you with some suspicion. Oh, you're part of a religion? Ooh, religion. Bad name these days. People have had some bad experiences. It's not really nice what so-called religionists have been doing, right? So a new challenge for us. But we are love-abiding people. We abide by the law. We follow the laws of the land, or we should. And I've heard criticisms about devotees from medical doctor devotees, as devotees are the worst persons for prescribing to a medication or some kind of drug. We're the worst. So what do you think about that, Prabhus? We are the worst. When it comes to you're given a prescription by a doctor and you just don't follow the prescription. Because we all say, oh, I want to go the Ayurvedic way. I want to go, I want to find the herbs in the bush, and I'll find out what it is, I'll study up on it and I'll research. So we're kind of bad for it. Anyways, enemies. This is the point, what I'm driving at. Enemies. Who are our enemies, really? I guess the most honest answer to the question is that we are our own worst enemy. I. That's a fact. We're the ones that got ourselves into trouble in the first place. We are the ones that are responsible for keeping us here. And we are the ones that want to just stay relaxed and not make any moves and just stay, we are complacent. This is one of the worst enemies that anybody could ever have. Complacency. Do we know what we mean by that? To be complacent means to be comfortable with where you are. But those who want to improve upon themselves, their character, their life, they need to be uncomfortable with where they are at. They need to say, look in the mirror and say, listen, buddy, you've got to make some changes. It's so obvious, right? So you have to identify yourself as the greatest enemy. Yes, we can say lust and anger and greed, kama, krodh, lobh, madness, envy, illusion. These are all enemies of the living entity. And Krishna goes, especially identifies as lust. He talks about it to Arjuna. Chapter 3, is it not? Arjuna asks, what's the thing that really makes it hard for one to advance? And Krishna talks about lust. But lust is not the old-fashioned, regular romantic stuff. It's the lust. There's many different kinds of lust. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addresses them. There is the desire for, like he says, bhakti, mukti, siddhi, kami. Bhakti means regular sense gratification, okay? And then mukti means the desire to become one with God. That's also a kind of a lust. It's the last snare of Maya. That's how Prabhupada puts it. Bhakti, mukti, siddhi, the lust for being able to do some magical things, yogic things, things that wow people, almost being like a magician, And so those levels of lust are what we can consider seriously as enemies. Okay, it's not just the regular Hollywood, Bollywood love, and so then let's look at those as enemies. But I'd say the worst enemy is ourselves. Just like some people, they ask, well, what was the wildest creature that you met on your walks, in the different countries? And I'll tell you very frankly, the greatest enemy, the greatest threat, or wild creature is something called Homo sapien. It's called a human being, greatest enemy of all mankind. So I'm just talking about, look at yourself, look inward, and you'll find an enemy right there. Unless you turn things around and you make some improvement. So devotees always work towards improvement. And you can't try to improve anybody unless if you work on your own improvement, isn't it? Charity begins at home. It starts with the self. And it just means we have to look at our shortcomings, and then we can get help. Now, one of the reasons why Krishna states in the Gita that, to really get help, you need a guru, you need a counselor, or counselors, plural, you need mentors, you definitely need cheerleaders, you need guides, and there could be maybe one person who fits the bill for all of those things. And honestly, most of us get enlightened in Krishna consciousness through the aid of a number of people, right? It's not just one person. Am I right about that? Isn't it several people that have helped you along the way? You can't bring it down to one unless if you want to look at the super big picture and say, well, it's Krishna. Okay, that is the most correct answer. Okay, but we all get help from so many people. As the old African proverb goes, it takes a village to raise the child. So it takes a lot of people to make you what you are today as a devotee. And so that's how we can overcome our enemies. Don't try to do anything alone. You know that word, hallucination? I think it's probably a French word. Is that right? Anybody super French? I know. Most English words are French words. Hallucination. So, when we say hallucination, it means when you think you can do it all by yourself. And that is the biggest hallucination. That's the only time I ever saw Prabhupada use that word. And it's in the Bhagavatam in a purport. It's a big hallucination. So, it's a drug. It's a drug. It's ego-based. I remember some years ago, there was an advertisement on television to get young men, especially Americans, to join the army, the forces, right? And because everyone's so ego-based, they came up with a great idea. There's a guy, sort of, he's got all his equipment, he's got it all on. You know how they have multiple pockets, and they're all let's say he's all prepped up, and he's going to the forest with this artillery and everything. So, and the slogan is, I am the army. I am the army. Not the bunch of us together. It's I am the army. Because the realization everyone's so egotistical now, that will sell them the idea that you can come join the armed forces and you can have a super big ego and anything, whatever works to get people to come and join, right? To be recruited. Yeah, so things are very much ego-based. And to some degree, Arjuna's also got a little bit of an ego. Now, when you hear his arguments, why he should not get involved in this case, it sounds pretty good, sounds sound. But Krishna didn't buy into it. He just, Arjuna went on and on and on. And then finally he says, the last word is this, right now. Chapter 2, text 9, mark my word, this is it. Govinda, I shall not fight. Okay, so now it's time, the cue is for Krishna to now say some things, and you know what he says? He starts rolling out the philosophy. He doesn't take any time, hardly a breath, So we're going to find it out in, verse 10 says Krishna's smiling. Arjuna's full of grief and Krishna's smiling. Those are the descriptions in text number 10. But then number 11 is really interesting. Krishna, first of all, chastises Arjuna. He said he puts him in his place. You with your status, and what you're saying doesn't match up. What you're supposed to be is not happening here. So then Krishna, right off the bat, starts talking about something that's of a transcendent nature. He starts preaching to him. The first words of enlightenment coming to Krishna is, Natveva hom jatu nasham, natam neme janadipa, which means I'm eternal, you're eternal. And all these other kshatriyas are also individually eternal. So that's a strong message, right? It's something they don't tell you in kindergarten. They certainly don't tell you in the university. They never tell you. They don't say anything. They don't tell you the basic things. What are the biggest problems in life that people have? One of them is money. Schools don't tell you how to deal and respect money. Am I right about that? They don't tell you. But that is so important. And maybe more important in people's lives is relationships. Do they have any courses for how to, approach someone, how to make good with your partner once you've found one? They don't teach that. So, but those are the things that hold your life together, right? Did they tell school, honor your mother and your father? That's old stuff from the Bible, in the Old Testament. They don't talk like that now, do they?
Not at all.
They can't. They can't because parents are pretty not respectable. But there's a lot of things missing here. And I know what I am. Is that your phone tone or ring? Okay. Yeah. So in any case, Arjuna is having a real tough time, and the reason why this dialogue is so good, and especially the first two chapters, because the setting is incredible. You've got all these people, there's all this suspense happening, and then there's something that a curveball is thrown by Arjuna. I'm not doing it. What's Krishna supposed to do? Open up his jaw and what? Well, he didn't really do that because the Lord knows everything, past, present, and future. He has a good idea of what's going on, right? And anyways, Arjuna expresses himself. It just gives an opportunity now for Krishna to speak. God is speaking, and when God is speaking, when we hear that phrase, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, that means God speaks. Shouldn't we listen? I mean, we listen to everybody else now. Now, when they want to, in the pop culture in the world today, they'll give you a quote. It's a quote from, let's say, Bob Dylan, or it's a quote from Taylor Swift, or somebody like that. And these are not the best role models, Isn't it funny? They get the status, And God speaks, and they don't. We can't have that in our culture. We can't have God. Because it's pop culture. You know the meaning of pop in Sanskrit? Pop means sin. Pop culture. Yeah. And when I was walking across America, I came to this one town where they had 2 radio stations. It was a town in Utah where they found a lot of dinosaur bones. So anyways, I went to one radio station. I love to go to the radio stations like it's live, And you're right there, and the broadcaster, or what do they call it, the anchor person, is right there. So I was in this one place, and I learned they play country western music. It's not my favorite genre of music. I just want to let you know. I lost my dog. Someone stole my truck. Whatever. It's not my favorite kind of music. And so we had a good interview, between songs. Like it went it went a little overtime. And that was one day. And the next day, I was at another radio station in the same town. And it was Jennifer. I remember her name clearly. She was the anchor person. So we were talking. And I showed her a Bhagavad Gita. I gave her her copy, my copy. She said, oh, I have that book. I said, really? Have you read it? No, but now I will. Okay. And then I asked Jennifer, what kind of music do you play here? Because at the other station it was country western. So what kind of genre of music do you play here? So we play pop music. So pop. I said, this is not, we're not interviewed. Nothing, the mics are not on yet. Pop, well, pop in Sanskrit means sin. Oh, that's very interesting, says Jennifer. Oh, get your headphones on. We're on the mic. We're on the air. We're on the air. Okay, so we have somebody very special here. He's Bhakti Marga Swami. Was that okay? He said, perfect, Jennifer. Okay, and also known as Walking Monkeys, walking across America to, and my usual line was, to make America great again. I stole the theme from someone, right? So then she goes on to say, and we were having a very interesting conversation with the monk here. And he asked me what kind of music we play. And I said, it's pop music. So the monk says pop means sin in Sanskrit. And that's why we're here, to have the monk on the show to deal with our sins. Because that was her remark. That's why we're happy to have him, so he can take care of our sins. So pop really means the pop culture that we live in now, that's so popular, various shades of it, is really what's doing a lot of damage, and we don't even know it. We don't even know. It's kind of like a cancer. When a cancer comes and something creeps up on you, a disease, you don't even, not aware that it's eating you up, consuming you. So that's what's going on right now. Because, well, if you listen to the lyrics of today, which I don't spend much time on, kill the cops, do this, to your mother, blah, 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 blah. All kinds of the most vulgar things you could imagine. Most vulgar things. So that's the culture that we are raised in, and which we have more or less embraced. Maybe we should think otherwise. Maybe this is not the way to go, right? So now Arjuna is in a position that maybe this is not where you should be going. And Krishna tells him in different ways, this is definitely not the way you go. So first of all, Krishna chastises him. You're acting in such a way which is not worthy of men of your caliber. Then Krishna opens up and talks about the subject that's important. First of all, identifying with Sat, that energy. I'm eternal. Then he starts talking about transmigration of the soul. Denus vinyata dehi, kaumarang yovanam jara. And he goes on. That's the second major point that he makes. Third major point, he says, we are living in a world of dualities. Learn to tolerate. Krishna's giving him an instruction. Tolerate. And then he goes on. So it's good stuff. The lesson is have a guru, have Krishna, have Prabhupada, and take some direction from someone, because where you are right now, you did it all by yourself. You did it my way. Okay, and it didn't work out. So therefore, when dealing with the way of truth, and also the way of true advancement, enlightenment, you have to get some people to help you out, because you don't have it in your hand yet. You have not mastered this art of love, surrender. It hasn't happened for you yet. So you have to be nice to yourself and get some help, get some better than professional help. When people say, I'm your friend, I've known you for a long time, I really think you need some help. Professional help, if you don't mind. I don't need any help. I don't need any I'm not doing anything wrong. Says, well, you are suffering. right? And Prabhupada states clearly that it's desires that creates suffering. Whatever we're going through now is the result of our desires. So let's get our history down. Let's get our identity down. I'm not this body. I'm a spirit. And let's do something truthful for a change. You know, and that is surrender. Now, maybe that's not a nice word. Does anybody like that word, surrender? You have to give up. But when you're dealing with surrender to God, it's okay. Another interview person I had on my walk, it was in Canada. And this person, she was into yoga somewhat, and she asked a lot of great questions. And then she said, so where does all this Bhakti Yoga lead you to? Where does it take you to? Says, well, it brings you to the point of, and I had to think about it a little bit, about her audience, to the point of surrender. And because I was struggling with a little bit, the one word that I wanted to offer as a takeaway. So I said, surrender. I said it reluctantly. And she jumped onto it. Oh, you mean sweet surrender? Like SS, sweet surrender. Surrender can give you a bad taste. Oh, I have to give up my independence. You know, but when you say sweet surrender, this is like letting go, letting God. It's so nice. It's like when you really retire. Oh, Krishna, just you do everything now. Right? And just taking up a surrendered approach, it's not an easy thing. It's not. It's not. As we can see, those of us who are practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, we struggle with the japa. We struggle always trying to check ourselves from doing outrageous things, you know, or we should be doing that. It's definitely a work in progress, and but a big part of advancement depends on your getting help, and don't just do it all by yourself. Again, it's a hallucination. You're in big trouble, buddy, by not surrendering. Good. So anyways, that's a good part to go over. Just if you're ever trying to remember, where does Arjuna say, I shall not fight? Now you know. Where do we find it in the Gita? 2.9. Huh? 2.9. 2.9. Yes, thank you. Haribol. And then that's all followed up by philosophical truths that Krishna rolls out for Arjuna and for our benefit as well. Yes. Does anybody have any questions or comments? We're going to keep this a little short because we are a long plane ride and a long ride from the airport to here. Yes.
So you mentioned that when it says Sri Bhagavan Vasha, we should listen. Yeah, it's God speaking, we should listen. And in today's world, anybody who says God is speaking, oh no, we shouldn't hear that.
Yeah.
So as a devotee who wants to preach and who wants to maybe in social media put content,
Yes.
how do we present that? How do we make them listen? Because I have found that people reject the idea that God can speak.
In some places you can't even use the word God.
Yeah, but in general, they have this idea that God has no form.
There are better words. Like, I think devotees have to be a little picky and choosy as to what words you use. I'm sure it holds true in the French language as well. You know, like when I walked across America, I realized I started off on the East Coast, you know, Boston, New York, those kind of things. You say God, you know. Once you get to Ohio, the great Midwest, people are a little more evangelical by nature. And once you say God, yes, God. Once you get to Colorado, then the culture changes again, you know. I think the year that I walked through there, 100,000 people moved to Denver, Colorado, because they made the laws very loose for smoking cannabis. Yeah, yeah. So and going right to these, seeing God, right to the West Coast, from there on. So I switch. I had God in the middle, but the divine on either side, or the supreme, or the creator. When you talk to some indigenous people, of course we don't have them here anymore. We wiped every last one out. Okay. When you're talking to indigenous people, you say the creator. Oh yes, the creator, the almighty. Okay. So you have to adjust your language, based on your audience. Very much so. Yeah. But surrender is a word that when you put that prefix, when you put that adjective to it, sweet surrender, says when you just let nature take over, let the universe take over. They like to hear that as opposed to let God take over, because God has not the nicest connotations in the minds of a lot of people. At least for now, but that could change. Good.
When we are trying to surrender, how do we fight dualities of mind, because everything seems right and wrong at the same time? For example, we know that Krishna did not die by an arrow, but our mind is conditioned so bad that it seems right and wrong at the same time.
Right and wrong. So the question is, can you narrow it down, your question?
Dualities of mind.
Dualities of the mind. Okay. Well, first of all, how does Krishna tackle the problem with Arjuna? First of all, he says, you have to follow Dharma. Right? He said, you're a Kshatriya. Hey man, pick up that bow and arrow. Let's get going. That's his Dharma. That's his specific psychophysical Dharma that he must follow. Then, as the philosophy rolls out, Arjuna starts to listen. He gets very serious, and he went through this whole trauma of seeing the Virat Rupa. Then Krishna says, now, I talked to you about Dharma. At this point, you have to get beyond Dharma. Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Get beyond Dharma. Through love, Manmana, Bhava Mad Bhakto, Madhyaji, Mang Namaskuru. Love me, be my devotee, give your homage unto me, worship, and surely you will come to me. So it's the answer is it is in surrender. The answer is in if they like that word. Maybe a common expression would be let it go. Right? Everybody can say that. 1, 2, 3. Let it go. Yeah, and you can have the expression. 1, 2, 3. Let it go. Okay. Draupadi. Let it go. Okay. That was her mood. Let it go. You can't fight against this big brute. His name was Dushasan. Can't deal with this guy. Yes.
Just the other day, I was at the dentist and waiting, and I started to talk with this man about God. Did you go to the temple? I said, so right away I got into the topic of God. But Krishna not attractive God, because they got this picture of the old man, like from the Bible, the old man curses.
Yes.
So God is the most beautiful and he's the most mischievous. And I got his attention. He was like, wow, what's going on here? God having fun.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Good. I'm glad you had a chance to share. I'm glad you had a chance to share. When I was walking across America, I had a similar kind of experience. And I went to the Juniata College, and I spoke at a group of, comparative religion students. So we told them about our basics of Bhagavad Gita. We got them to sing and dance. And then after that, the girl with the blue hair, she came to me, excuse me, Swami, but I just want to tell you, we've been studying all the religions. We started Judaism and this and that. And most of the faith groups are about a big guy that you have to listen to, and he'll strike you down with his thunder and lightning if you don't listen to him. And then they left at the end, our teacher left at the end, studying Hinduism, right? So they laid out an idea of their Hindu god. Well, their Hindu god is somebody who's quite young, and his name is Krishna, and he's at the river, and he's close to where the girls are having their swim, you know, and Krishna picks up all their clothes while they're in the water. Said, if you really want to get out, then you'll have to come to me for your clothes. If you want your clothes, you have to get them from me, right? So then the girls were coming out, you know, with less on, and they're all hearing about the god from India, you know, and they go, you know, because every thing else they heard was about a God-fearing God, a vindictive God. Now they're hearing about a God who plays pranks and has a little fun, you know. So it's quite different, you know. We have something, and wouldn't you want to surrender to somebody like that? It's very hard to surrender to a vindictive God, to a difficult God, a punishing God. You don't even want to get close. Oh, stay away in my cave. So, and I asked her, what did the students think when they heard? Did they think Krishna was kind of a playboy? So, not really. They were just thought he was really cool, like, you know, that he likes to have fun. Yeah, so that's really a consideration. Yeah. Anything else? Because we really have to try to sleep early.
How can we hear Krishna's fruit?
By surrendering. By surrendering to him, your will to his. Sweet surrender. Okay. Is that okay? Anybody else?
You just came from Toronto.
Yes. Yeah, well, and to the airport, and from the Charles de Gaulle airport. Madan Gopal, he saved me. Yeah. And these wonderful devotees from Amsterdam also came.
I want to buy your books, but they must be signed.
They will be signed. Don't you worry. So we're going to be around for the next few days. We'll give a class tomorrow. I think there's one in the evening and something like that. We'll do some walks around, and if it doesn't rain, especially. I'm kind of excited to see the wild boars you have here.
Now, you know your day when Madan Gopal is, last time we had a program, remember, at Madan Gopal's place? And there's not a fixed date now.
You'll have to ask him.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. I am not knowing. I'm going a day at a time. So, Peruz, thank you very much. Haribol, and we'll see you all. What time does the program start here?
Tomorrow, class, quarter to 8, the class.
What time?
The lecture. Bhagavatam class, quarter to 8.
Okay. Okay.
Quarter to 8. But Bhagavatam class is quarter to 8.
So,
Okay.
Maharaj, 4:30 Aarti, 5:15 to 7:15 Japa time.
Okay.
And then 7:15 to
Okay.
Deity greeting, 7:15.
Okay. And then
Guru Puja?
class time is
Quarter to 8.
quarter to 8. Bruce, thank you very much. All glories to your lotus feet. Haribol. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhya patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Jai, 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 jai.